SP3 on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Yes, we are live. We are live on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel for our Extreme Rules 2022 prediction show. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, joined live here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel with my good friend over at Fightful, the co-host of Coexisting with Rob and Maggie over on Fightful Overbooked, my esteemed Minnesotan. He is Rob Wilkins.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to be part of this. I'm excited to do this prediction show, and I'm excited for the weekend, and I'm excited that no Minnesota Timberwolves trade has happened yet. So last time we were on a show together, you broke the news to me, and I'll let you explain what happened because I was not too happy.
Yes, I did the Coexisting After Dark show with Rob and Maggie. We're in a little interview. We start talking. I think something about basketball comes up, and I bring up because I know Rob is a Minnesota Timberwolves fan from our NBA draft watch along over on Fightful Overbooked for FMC. So I was like, oh yeah, you shouldn't want to talk about basketball because I just got Rudy Gobert. I gave up like 4 or 5 draft picks, and Rob just looked it up, and then the emotion was written all over Rob's face.
Oh, man, I hope it works, but but we'll see. Okay, but yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun show. Thank you again for having me.
No, very, very happy to have you and joining us. Of course, conspicuous by his absence is Rick Ucchino. We want to send, our shout out, our thoughts, our prayers, our support and love for Rick Ucchino. He can't be with us because he is taking care of his family with his mom passing. So we want to dedicate this show to Rick's family and definitely know that everyone here at Bleav in Pro Wrestling Podcast on screen, as well as you guys, the viewers and subscribers of the YouTube channel, are sending our support to him. So let us know, shout it out in the live chat and in the comment section for Rick, because he will be back, but he's definitely missed today. But we got to talk about WWE Extreme Rules coming up tomorrow night, a Saturday B pay-per-view. I think this is the first. I don't know if WrestleMania. I know Hell in a Cell was on a Sunday, but I think WrestleMania Backlash, that was also on the Sunday. So I think this is the first official B pay-per-view that is on a Saturday. It's got a 6-match card. This is the Triple H era, the first B pay-per-view of the Triple H era. Rob, what's your feelings going into tomorrow night?
Oh man, I gotta say he's built a pretty good card. In my opinion, he's built a really good card. I'm excited. He's going into a really good place to have this show, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a good crowd. They have a history of Extreme Rules, as we know, Extreme Championship Wrestling, and it's a good crowd. That's one thing that's going to be very helpful. And they have like I said, the most important thing, they have a good card, and a lot of people like the Saturday night pay-per-views or premium live events. So I think it's going to be a good show. I really do.
Yeah, I understand it for the people that actually, work and go to work Monday through Friday. It's tough coming off of like one of these long pay-per-views, whether it be an AEW, a WWE, whatever company, and then going into work the next day is kind of like the Super Bowl hangover that a bunch of people have. But we, as wrestling fans, we have it pretty much once a month, depending on how much wrestling you watch. So I can understand the Saturday pay-per-views are a little bit more convenient.
Yes. Yeah, I for sure. And the biggest thing is there's like I said earlier, like there's so many good matches on this card that I'm excited for. The Fight Pit one, and they're bringing in Daniel Cormier, and it's good to see that a non-A pay-per-view is talked about. It's good to see.
Yeah, they went and got someone from the outside, from kind of like a mainstream like sports fan would know, for one of the big matches on the card. Every match is extreme. I think that Triple H heard some of the complaints that people made about last year's Extreme Rules only having one Extreme Rules match in the main event and the rest of the match being regular matches, and he was like, oh, if you want stipulations, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stipulations. I don't know if he chose the right stipulations for everything, but we'll get into that. And we want to hear from all of you guys in the live chat. Sound off. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. We got E Loke in the live chat saying whoop, way up, guys. We also got Safit who says what's up. We got Queen Mo as per usual joining us saying hello. Shouts out to Queen Mo. Shouts out to Safit saying EC Dub. EC Dub, EC Dub. He's in the mood for some Extreme Rules. So let's get into this card here. You got over on the Smackdown card, one of the latest matches that was added to the pay-per-view for this Saturday. Rob, you got the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. You got Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci of Imperium versus Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch of the Brawling Brutes. Of course, this comes off the stems off of Gunther versus Sheamus, one of the best matches of the year at Clash of the Castle, with Gunther getting the win over Sheamus, and kind of Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes kind of getting this slow burn babyface turn before our eyes, and the crowd really getting behind Sheamus more than they pretty much have his whole career, and the Brawling Brutes by proxy. And they lost their first matchup, the 6-man tag, following Clash at the Castle against Imperium. Now they got another chance here, and this time it's a little bit more personal, as the Brawling Brutes were cost the undisputed WWE tag team titles as well as the NXT tag team titles by Imperium. So who do you think wins on Saturday, despite the fact that we have tonight on the season premiere of SmackDown? It's going to be Gunther versus Sheamus 2 for the Intercontinental Championship.
These two they're going to beat the hell out of each other tonight too, so it's going to be good. The tomorrow night's matchup, it's one of those things where Imperium's just getting built, like they're getting more popular and more popular, like as far as like the heat goes, as far as heels go. I could actually see the Brawling Brutes get this victory, and the reason why is because I can see Gunther like just kind of do what he normally does. Is like he gets mad at his guys, he slaps them around.
Yeah,
and I think that would be I think that's how they can roll with it. Like they can take the loss. Brawling Brutes can get bigger, and this is one of those occasions where the newer people that you're trying to push both. I think that's what's going on here, and I Bleav with Imperium they can take this loss and still build Gunther. I actually think they're fine right now. You let one of those guys other than Gunther take the pin, and you can build around both teams still. Like I said, yeah. Gunther can just be irritated at his guys, slap them around like he normally does, and when they lose, and you got Brawling Brutes who are just getting more popular. People are loving the way Pete Dunne is. They love the way he's acting, like in the ring. They think it's hilarious. He reminds me of like that cartoon character that Ridge Holland's trying to hold back, and it's good TV. It really is, and I'm actually rooting for the Brawling Brutes tomorrow.
I am rooting for the Brawling Brutes as well. I think they are going to win this one because mainly I think Gunther is not going to lose tonight. I think Gunther's needs to retain the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus, but I do question, does WWE value Gunther as the single star and want to keep the Intercontinental Championship on him a little bit longer? Or do they value the stable of Imperium? Because I don't see the same side winning back-to-back nights. I think whoever wins, Gunther and Sheamus, the opposite team, the group, is going to win on Saturday.
Exactly. I agree 100% with you. Gunther, that's why I said Gunther just doesn't need to take the pin. You can let him keep his Intercontinental title, protect him. He'll be fine. And then as far as as far as they go, he'll be fine if they just don't let him take the pin, which I don't see them happening at all. And I think that's the way to go. I really do. You start that crowd off hot if that's a match they start off with, and I actually can see them starting off with that match.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. Because again, I think you can build both teams around. I think they'll be fine if Imperium takes the loss in this case, and Brawling Brutes can just get more popular and more popular. And I actually like it when you start to see teams that you haven't seen in a long time, or like Sheamus. We're so used to seeing him as a heel. He's been a heel 90% of his career. I actually like it when we see like heels that turn face for a little while. And
Yeah.
I would like to see him be a face because he's actually pretty funny. Like when they let him be himself on camera. So I'm hoping they go with this, and you can actually make him a title contender again if you do this right.
This is kind of the Sheamus that we got at the beginning of the bar. That was like the first time that they kind of let Sheamus be Sheamus as a babyface, because we all remember the ill-fated 2011 through like 2013 babyface run where he was basically Irish John Cena. Yeah. This is more natural. This feels like just Sheamus getting over for being a hard-hitting Irishman who likes to fight and likes to drink.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And we're pretty much right on with this, and this is a match that it's going to be pretty hard hitting, and I'm excited. I'm so excited for this match. It's one of the matches I'm excited for the most.
Yeah. Got a good comment, but one I disagree with here from Ace saying Sheamus is way better on his own as a babyface. I think Sheamus is better overall as a babyface, but I think that he's better with someone else, not on his own. I feel like, the ill-fated, on his own run of John Cena, maybe I'm scarred by that, but I feel like his runs with Cesaro in the beginning of the bar, as well as this run with the Brawling Brutes, he just feels like a more natural, relatable babyface that the fans can get behind. So sometimes performers need that extra somebody to kind of get them over as a babyface.
Yes. And when they started this team, I was kind of like, I don't know how long this is going to last, but it's actually built into a team where I'm excited to see them on TV. It's a segment where I'm actually watching. It went from like to like, oh, cool, they're on. So it's good. It's good TV.
They've really turned it around, and definitely this is going to be a banger after the banger that we get on Gunther and Sheamus too tonight on SmackDown. But another group, like you said, that have been catching momentum as of late is the Judgment Day. You got one of the members of the Judgment Day here, Finn Balor, going one-on-one with Edge in an I Quit match. Of course, the Judgment Day was the creation of Edge until Finn Balor was invited in, and they disposed of Edge, laying him out, taking him out for a few months. Edge returned at SummerSlam, cost the Judgment Day their match against the Mysterios. Edge and Rey Mysterio then defeated the Judgment Day at Clash at the Castle, but Dominic Mysterio turned heel, betraying Edge as well as his father, Rey Mysterio. Ever since then, the Judgment Day has been making everyone's life a living hell. And a few weeks ago, they laid out Edge with a coup de grace on his knee with the steel chair, courtesy of Finn Balor, to set up this I Quit match. Do you see a world where Edge will say I quit, and how would it happen? Or is the Judgment Day going to suffer another loss on a pay-per-view, making them 0-3 in the Triple H era, Rob?
The only way I could see Edge saying I quit is if Beth Phoenix is at ringside, like how she is sometimes, and Rhea Ripley's just like destroying her, like just has her like in a hold or something, like, and she's just like yelling. Like, that's the only way I can see Edge say I quit, unless they do like some kind of like, and I don't see Triple H booking this kind of thing where they do the fake audio type crap, but so I think that's the only way Edge does it. But I can't see Finn Balor quitting either, because he has so many people around him. This one's really hard to say, but I think Judgment Day needs a win really bad. So I think there needs to be something that that happens for Edge to say I quit, because it would get, in a way, I think it would get people more interested. I think it'd be more interesting in this story. Like, I mean, you look at it this way, I would never picture Edge saying I quit in a match. He seems like one of those guys that's been so protected, and if it would help the story, I think it would go a long ways. This one's really hard to predict, because both guys need a victory here. And Judgment Day, it can move them up. If they take this loss, I don't know where they go from here. I really don't, because you have the Dominic Rhea stuff's just great. Granted, wrestling Twitter is what's making that so great for a lot of us. But and then Damian Priest is there to be like the muscle. I just really think that Finn Balor needs this victory more than Edge does.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's kind of what I go by with these WWE premium live events. Whoever needs the win more is usually who I'm going to pick here. And I'm going to pick Finn Balor. Now, after the match was made, I think I heard the same idea that you just said about, Edge being made to say I quit because they're, beating up on Beth, or like choking out Beth. Rhea's choking her out and stuff. And Edge has to say I quit because of that. And I felt it would be kind of telegraphed, because it would just be Beth showing up at the building. And I'm just like, I would have wished that they would have set this up a little bit better by having Beth, like, just do one scene of Beth showing up with Edge to the building on a random episode of Raw. Just make it a little bit more often. It's just been that show in Toronto where it made sense, because that's Edge's hometown, and now she's gonna randomly pop up again. No, that feels telegraphed. But I will say they did do some work towards setting it up with Edge's promo on Raw, where he talked about, his family and how, coming back, caused a strain on his family, but they are together and he's going to do this for his family on Saturday. So that kind of telegraphed it, but it also set up what could be that finish on Saturday.
Yeah, and the one thing that I would like, if they do go that route with Beth Phoenix, I don't want her to be like in the crowd. I want her to be backstage. I want Rhea to leave the ringside, like just during the middle of the match, and maybe it's something where we don't pay attention, or we do see her leave and it's like, what's going on type thing, and then she goes in the back and they show her like on the screen, and that's when Edge does it, because I think that would be best. I think having her at ringside, it just it puts it in mind that something's going to happen with her there. I think that gives it away. I think the best way to do it is go have a backstage segment.
And we also got the fact that when it's like that, when someone is going to get involved, especially like being at ringside, and the finish is not going to come until they get involved, the crowd kind of sits on their hands for a bit, and you don't want that to happen. So we got Queen Bone who says Finn has to win, or else trying to rebuild them would have meant nothing. So yeah, the Finn Balor win here, it would establish him more as a heel, especially the way we're saying that it might happen, because that protects Edge. At the same time, it's further established him as a heel, the group Judgment Day as the top heel faction on Raw, and it would help to kind of vindicate the report from WrestleVotes that said that there is big plans for Finn Balor and he's a favorite of the new regime.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Triple H has obviously loved Finn Balor since the beginning, and that's something I think a lot of us have been clamoring for. It's like, put Finn Balor up. We know he can do it, so I think that's a good way to go.
Yes, hoping that this continues after Extreme Rules, but after he gets the win in the I Quit match. But another stipulation match that we have here is a strap match returning, as it's going to be Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with Karrion Kross with Scarlett. Karrion Kross returned to WWE a few months back and has set his sights on Drew McIntyre's spot, calling him the chosen one, him the ill-begotten. So he's going to take his vengeance on the chosen one and take take his spot in WWE. Drew McIntyre was the one that challenged Karrion Kross to a strap match after he attacked him from behind, choking him out with the cross jacket and getting involved in his match at Clash at the Castle. So this is kind of the blow-off match to this rivalry that's been brewing for the past 2 to 3 months now. Rob, who is going to win the strap match, Kross or McIntyre?
This one, I think Kross needs this win badly. I really do. So in this case, I know Triple H is a Drew guy too, and he's obviously a Kross guy because he brought him back. That was one of his. Yeah. That was one of the first guys he brought back. I think Kross needs this victory really, really bad, and I think that's the way you. I think you have to go that way. I think that's probably the best way to go. I know Drew main evented at Clash at the Castle and stuff, and he took the loss there. But Drew's at that point now where he can take losses and he's still fine.
Yeah. I wish they didn't do that to him at Clash at the Castle. I think there was a way, even if you wanted Roman Reigns to be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, there was a way to have Drew win at Clash at the Castle and then get the title back on Roman. And I feel like this pay-per-view, although definitely better than the last few Extreme Rules event, it would feel a lot bigger if this match was for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Yeah. And, the one thing you just said about getting that title over, what I honestly thought they should have done is do a stipulation where Drew McIntyre said, if any of your bloodline gets involved, I get one of those titles, something like that. That way, I think that was the way to go. And then maybe that's a way to cause some stress in the bloodline like there is now, maybe have one of the Jey Uso or somebody cost him, not Sami Zayn, because that Sami Zayn stuff's great. And I'm sorry to go off topic, but I think that's the way you could have got that title off of him, had a moment that would be on TV forever that you could always go back to show.
Yeah.
But instead of singing at the end of the show, I think that would have been better.
One of the that is definitely up there. I'm sorry, when I show my kids dumb baby faces who celebrate nothing, I'm gonna show them Lex Luger at SummerSlam 1993 and Drew McIntyre at WWE Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. So
I'm also going to go with Karrion Kross to get the win here. I think he definitely is the one that needs it more. And like you said, Drew McIntyre is kind of tough. And I think Drew, in the end of this feud, might win the feud. But I think for now, Karrion Kross definitely needs that big win to solidify him back on the WWE roster. We got Safi, who's also going for Kross, and Ace, who says, Drew McIntyre ain't no chosen one anymore. Excuse me. We got next the Smackdown Women's Championship up for grabs in a Extreme Rules match, as it's going to be Liv Morgan defending against the baddest woman on the planet, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. These two women have been feuding ever since the summer when Liv Morgan won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and cashed it in on Ronda in the same night to win the Smackdown Women's Championship. The two women went at it at SummerSlam in a controversial finish where Liv Morgan tapped out to Ronda's armbar, but Ronda pinned herself, and it's caused a little rift in how these women are perceived by the WWE fans ever since. Ronda Rousey has been dealing with authority figures trying to stop her from going nuts ever since she attacked the referees at SummerSlam. She's attacked security guards, attacked Adam Pearce. She was suspended, and the crowd has been getting further on her side, while Liv Morgan has kind of felt like an hollow champion since that ill-fated result at SummerSlam, even though she has beating the likes of Shayna Baszler, Lacey Evans, showing her extreme side. This feels like a match that Liv Morgan needs to really kind of leave her legacy as the SmackDown Women's Champion, for better or worse. Will it be the end of her run, or will it be that landmark win that she's been looking for, Rob?
This one's a tough one because with them going into and I'm skipping the the next one at Saudi Arabia, but going into Survivor Series, I don't know if they're promoting Ronda Rousey as one of the big matches for Survivor Series. So I like what Liv Morgan has done with the title. I know a lot of people have been like, yeah, but what I like about her being the champion is she brings that belt with her wherever she goes. Like, she's done a lot of promoting. She's just gone to baseball games. She brought that title with her when she goes to just different events. She brings that title with her. That's what WWE wants out of their champions, and I think it's great. And I think based on the way SummerSlam ended, and it was a few months or 2 months ago, I do think that she needs this win, and Ronda just needs to be even more like just like pissy and ready to just take everyone out. Ronda's at that point too where she's okay taking a loss, in my opinion. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. If that's the problem. Liv Morgan if Liv Morgan loses the belt, it's one of those things where I understand it too. You know, I do. You have a bigger face, like you can promote around with Ronda Rousey. A lot of people can get behind Ronda that are not wrestling fans for the most part. It's like somebody will say, "Hey, that's Ronda Rousey," and so it's really tough. But my heart wants Liv Morgan to win. But if I was to say, I think Ronda Rousey's going to get this victory. I really do. I think she's going to take the title and move on to Survivor Series and have a pretty big pretty big match. I don't know against who yet, but I think she's going to have a solid title match against somebody with a name.
I always go for the Booker's strengths. Triple H seems to have figured out how to make Ronda Rousey a babyface and can't seem to figure out how to make Liv Morgan an underdog babyface.
Yeah.
I'd rather him just go with the person he knows how to book. So that's why I'm going with Ronda Rousey. I know that Liv Morgan needs this win more than Ronda Rousey, like Ace says here. I know there's the option, like Queen Moan says. I feel like somebody will cost Ronda this match. There's always the looming cloud of Charlotte Flair getting involved, or maybe someone jumping ship, maybe a Selena Vega who has been rumored to be returning from SmackDown either tonight or maybe over the weekend. You never know. So there's definitely a couple of options for people to interfere in the matchup, but I don't want to Triple H to go on a losing journey. It's a losing journey. I think we should learn from the past 2 months that Triple H has been in charge that he just doesn't get Liv Morgan. He doesn't get Liv Morgan. He doesn't know how to book her. It's time to move on.
Yeah, and he didn't do her any favors with that tap out thing. That was pretty bad. That probably caused a lot of this because I don't think he was expecting her to start getting booed right after that. So it makes perfect sense the way you said it, and I think that might be the way to do it. And if Ronda wins, you can have. I just think it's one of those things with Liv Morgan. She'll be fine, and she can get back into that title hunt later. People can rally around her again, I believe. Yeah. She's very popular. She'll be fine if you want to take that title off her for a while. Maybe move her to Raw when they end up doing this draft eventually. Let her go after that title eventually. There's a lot of different ways they can do it. Ronda Rousey, we know, is going to stay on SmackDown because they get more eyes on that channel. So, in my opinion, I think if business-wise, you go with Ronda Rousey. The fan of me wants Liv Morgan, so I'm going with Ronda Rousey.
Hey, there's always the option to go with Liv Morgan, and like he said, he wants the Ronda Rousey Shayna as a tag team. There's also that option that if Ronda has the championship, Shayna takes her sights on her. We really didn't get that during Ronda's first run with the SmackDown Women's Championship. So,
man, and that's what I was actually wondering about Survivor Series. Those two could have a hell of a match because we know Triple H is a Shayna man. So let those two just go at it. Damn, that could be something.
I would love to see it at like Royal Rumble or something if they're gonna get involved in like the War Games, if they want to put them in that. So they got 2 more matches, and either of these matches can really be the main event of the show. Let's talk about the first time ever the Raw Women's Championship is up for grabs in a ladder match, as it will be Bayley going one-on-one with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Of course, Bayley returned to WWE at SummerSlam alongside Dakota Kai and Io Sky of Damage Control and confronted Bianca Belair. Ever since then, they've been making every woman on Raw and SmackDown's lives a living hell, and Bayley and Damage Control defeated Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka at WWE Clash at the Castle, with Bayley pinning Bianca Belair, becoming the first woman to defeat her in 2022. So this earned her the opportunity here, and she chose a ladder match, wanting to make some more history, which Bayley and Bianca are known for. Who walks out with the Raw Women's Championship, Rob?
Man, this, like, I think you need to put the title on Bayley now, based on how you put the titles on Dakota and
Damage Control.
Yeah. I think that's the way you got to go. I really do. I think you just need to build them like powerful. I love Bianca Belair. I think she's fantastic, but you bring back Bayley and just have her lose. Like, I don't know how you do that. And there's ways you can go around this. Just, I think you have to go with Bayley. And that's the way I want them to. That's the way I want them to go.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I believe this is Bayley's time. This is a good way of Bianca losing, but still protecting her. She doesn't get pinned. She doesn't submit. All Bayley is doing is climbing up the ladder and grabbing the championship before her. I think Bianca Belair is going to be very creative with a ladder match. You know, you've seen her do 450 splash, Hurricane Radas, flips, and all that. I think she's going to be bringing that to the ladder match here. But I think it's also going to be a physical type of ladder match because of Bayley's style. So I think this is going to be a really good matchup. But I think that it's Bayley's time to win the championship. And unfortunately for me, this is something that I thought of when I first talked about this match earlier this week, but I'll say it to you, Rob. It just feels like Bianca, this is something that I've been saying before WrestleMania, honestly. I'll be honest with you, Rob, but it still feels that Bianca Belair is just not quite as over as she was before SummerSlam 2021. I feel like the win against Becky was great in the moment. She felt like the one of the biggest superstars in all of professional wrestling. But after WrestleMania, Becky felt like the biggest story in the women's division. And then you get the feud at SummerSlam, the really good matchup there. And then Bayley comes back, and now the focus has been on Bayley and Damage Control. It feels like Bianca is not the number one woman on this brand, let alone the WWE. And it feels like they still haven't captured how over she was before SummerSlam last year.
Yeah, that SummerSlam, man, that was a disaster with the way they did that. I mean, doing the fantasy booking, I wouldn't have done that in a million years, because that you could have set up a huge match down the road. Becky could have said, doctors haven't cleared me, but they said if I continue the way I'm going, I will see you at Survivor Series or something like that. You could have set it up. Like, she didn't need that title. She just didn't right then. I mean, if you wanted to put the title on her, obviously you could do it like any time, but that was not the time to do it, because you had that big crowd in Vegas, and you're right. They kind of killed her momentum. She still gets a hell of a pop wherever she goes for the most part, but it's not as big as it could be.
Yeah, it just feels like her momentum was like this, and they like bring it down to here, and they've only brought it here.
Yeah.
They still haven't got it. It still doesn't feel like she was the skyrocket that she was before SummerSlam last year, sadly. Like, I hate to say that, because Bianca Belair is one of my favorite women's wrestlers in general, and seems like a great human being. And I want all the success in the world for her and want her to be considered the number one woman in all of wrestling. I would say she's the best women's wrestler of 2022, but it just feels like the focus of the company has been on other women ever since what happened at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You hit it right on the head.
But we will see what happens at Extreme Rules in the ladder match. But let's talk about one final match here, Rob, as it's going to be for the first time ever on the main roster, the Fight Pit. Matt Riddle going one-on-one with Seth Rollins, with UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee for this contest. Of course, Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins have been feuding ever since Money in the Bank, where Riddle hit Rollins with an RKO, which stopped Rollins from claiming the briefcase. The two men were supposed to clash at SummerSlam, but unfortunately Seth Rollins attacked Riddle beforehand, made him medically unable to compete. They still got into a brawl at SummerSlam with Seth laying him out, but then Riddle returned before Clash at the Castle. They've been brawling over every single building ever since then. Rollins defeated Riddle at Clash at the Castle, but he wants revenge. He cost Rollins the United States Championship against Bobby Lashley, and this became even more personal than it's been before. They've talked about baby mamas. They've talked about each other's kids. They've talked about each other's wives. This has been messy. This has been personal. It feels fitting of a fight pit, and you got the star power of UFC Hall of Famer DC coming in. Who walks out of the fight pit the winner?
Man, before this past Raw, I had Seth Rollins winning somehow. But when they announced that Seth Rollins was going to be facing Bobby Lashley for the US title, that's when I'm like, okay, he's already getting the title shot, so they can go with Riddle. I think Riddle's going to get this victory. I think what's going to happen is Daniel Cormier is going to get, Rollins is going to do something to piss off Cormier, and Cormier is just going to just take him out or something. They're going to go with that celebrity takes out the bad guy type ordeal and set it up that way. And that's how Riddle's going to get the victory, I believe. Riddle's going to get the win, and Rollins is going to hit that streak again, or not streak necessarily, but he's going to lose this one. He will, I believe, because of, if they wouldn't have announced that match for Raw tomorrow or on Monday, this coming Monday, I would have said that Riddle would have probably lost, but the fact that they announced that match, I'm going with Riddle now, I think. Because I think they're putting that title, the U.S. title, on Seth Rollins. I think they're going to put that belt on him.
I can see that. I can see them, trying to get his heat back after losing the fight pit by putting the U.S. championship on him. I can also see them they using the injuries from the fight pit as an excuse for Lashley beating him. So it could go either way, which makes both Extreme Rules and Monday Night Raw, the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, very, very interesting. But I agree with you. I think Riddle is going to come out with the victory here. My main reason for that is because they're trying to get this over that this is Riddle's type of matchup because of his UFC background, but the only fight pit he's ever been in, he lost to Timothy Thatcher. So they need to kind of, if this is going to be a stipulation that they plan to bring back, or maybe it's the kind of blow off of more personal feuds for Matt Riddle, he needs to win here.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think you said it best. And it's Riddle, it would help Riddle out. Seth Rollins again. He's one of those guys that can take the L and he'll be fine because he's that good. He can bounce back. There's certain guys and certain girls in the business that can take losses and just bounce right back and they're fine. And Seth Rollins is one of those guys. Drew McIntyre is now one of those guys. And AJ Styles, in my opinion, is one of those guys. So I definitely think Riddle's going to get this victory, and if Rollins wins somehow, I still think no matter what happens on Monday, Seth Rollins is getting that title. I really do.
And this kind of plays into that. This comment here from DJ Duke, who says, feels like they're going with a trilogy. It would make sense by like typical wrestling type of booking. You want the trilogy to be big, and adding a championship to it would make it feel a little bit bigger for the United States Championship. So that kind of plays into your thought that Rollins is going to win against Lashley on Monday.
Yeah. And I think that's a way to go. But we'll see.
We shall see for sure. We won't do predictions for the season premiere of SmackDown or Raw. We'll save that for someone else, but that is the end of our predictions for the matches currently scheduled for WWE Extreme Rules. I want to thank my good brother Rob Wilkins for joining me. Thank you so much, and definitely go out of your way to follow him on social media. Check out Coexisting with Rob and Maggie over on Fightful Overbooked later today, but I'll let Rob let you know all the details on that and anywhere else they can find you, Rob.
Yeah, every Friday, 3 o'clock on Fightful Overbooked, Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. Maggie's done a show with these guys before. I think it was the Money in the Bank preview show. We have a blast. You know, we give each other like a hard time usually. It's a good like comedy like wrestling show because we go back and forth. We have 2 non-wrestling segments where I tell either dad jokes or pretty much inappropriate jokes. It's a blessing we don't have an HR department at Fightful yet. So we have a blast. And then after our show, we do a post show on Fightful Select called Coexisting After Dark. And SP3's been on our show. Basically, it's not all wrestling. We just ask like very minimal questions, just maybe 1 or 2 wrestling questions. And then the rest is just basically asking wrestling media or wrestling, even some wrestling hardcore fans, just about them, learning more about them and like what their favorite food is to eat watching a pay-per-view. And we ask about what's it like, what's the best part of being a father, stuff like that, just all kinds of things. So it's a fun, good time. I hope everybody can check it out. I think they'll like it. Every Friday at 3 o'clock on Fightful Overbooked. And then you can also see me on Fightful Select quite a bit, doing a pre-show this Saturday on Fightful Select at 3 o'clock Eastern. Sid, you're going to be there, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast.
Yes, so much great work that you're doing over on Fightful. So definitely support Rob Wilkins. Want to thank everyone in the live chat that joined us live. We appreciate you all. Oh yeah, thank you. See, this is why I always look at the live chat before I close things off, because there's an elephant in the room that we didn't discuss, Rob, or should I say a white rabbit we didn't discuss. Do you think, last question before we sign things off, do you think the white rabbit reveal will be at Extreme Rules, and who will it be?
Well, it's going to be Bray. And I don't know when they're going to do it because I don't know what match there is to do it, like which one they're going to do it for. It doesn't necessarily make sense to do it during the Seth Rollins match. The one it does make sense, in my opinion, for if the rumor, there's been so many great like theories about this. I know at one time I saw a theory where Karrion Kross was part of this theory. I would like to see him maybe be part of it. If he's part of it, that would be a perfect opportunity to bring Bray out.
Yeah.
Maybe
if Drew and Karrion are in the main event, I'm gonna be like, this is the most least interesting match on this card. If this is a main event, that's definitely the White Rabbit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I don't know how they're gonna do it, and maybe there's it's really hard to say. I don't know how they're going to do it. And there's obviously lots of hints. I mean, if you look at the Extreme Rules poster, there's like, you see the lantern in parts and you see other little things. And I just don't know where they're going to do it or how they're going to do it, but it's going to be interesting. And if Alexa Bliss was part of this card, I think that's when it would be, because that's when they've like done the light tease, like the lights kind of blink or kind of go low and then they go high. I think that would have been the perfect time. So, and that could be added tonight. We don't know. I could see them adding a match tonight still, because I do think we'll see a pre-show match as well. So I think there's an opportunity where they can still build this in. I just don't know where they do it right now, or how they do it.
You could definitely see them putting Alpha Academy or something, or maybe Otis versus Braun on the pre-show, because they gave Otis a win over Johnny Gargano for a reason, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that surprised me. Him and Candice taking the loss really surprised me off topic. I was not expecting either one of them to take an L yet, but
no.
At least they made Gargano's look decent. But we'll have to see what they do. But it's definitely Bray. But we'll have to see how they do it. I'm pretty confident the way they've done this. They know exactly what they're doing on this time. So I think it's going to be great. I really do, because they've done so well with the talk about it. Like they made it fun for people to like do the search and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be awesome once it unveils. And I've missed Bray, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really good wrestling show, but sometimes those really good wrestling shows need that extra hook. And I feel like the White Rabbit reveal with Bray Wyatt would bring that extra hook, which would make Extreme Rules memorable. And when was the last time we really said that about Extreme Rules, outside of, an eye for an eye? But that was memorable for the wrong reasons. Yeah. But thank you once again to Rob. Check him out on Coexisting with Rob and Maggie later today, 3 p.m. Eastern time, over on Fightful Overbooked. You can catch me at True Hill SP3. I'll be back here on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast YouTube channel next week, hopefully with Rick Ucchino back with us, so we could talk about all the wrestling we haven't been discussing right here on the channel. So remember to drop the thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. For Rob Wilkins, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our Extreme Rules 2022 prediction show. We are signing off until next time.